Hi, my name is Barrie Ingram. I'm an accountant, also a taxi driver, and those two things, obviously, the only way they relate is the word tax with the I on the end, I suppose. But what we've got to say is, what does this app do? And I'll explain how I got here in a few moments. The software is developed with 3 entry panels. I'm sure that's right. We've got the company entry panel, which is normally operated by the controller. There's the driver entry panel, which you can log in from mobile as well. And also the customer entry panel, which you can log in from mobile as well. All of these panels are mobile compliant. The bookings can be made from the company panel and the customer panel. Perfect, because then customers can book without calling you up. Perfect. Now all panels can be logged in from the desktop app or a screen app. Okay, the app is a mobile compliant device, which is great because then anything you use, being it an Apple phone, an Android phone, an iPad, a desktop computer, anything you can get onto a browser, you can use this app. So it's very, very flexible. So let's explain then. The fact is, it is an app, not quite the same as a normal app, but the greatest thing is that once you've logged in through a link sent to you by text or an email, okay, or a link that's set on your website, the app says, do you want to download this app? And stick a logo, app-looking picture on your desktop. And then when you log out, the little app, as we know it, is sitting on your desktop to log in and go and use this app again. So there you are, you have your app, as if you've downloaded. And these days, don't you find that people are very intelligent and very IT literate, but when they get to say, oh, can you download my app and everything else, like, oh, no, I don't do all that sort of thing. But this is great, because once you've sent them the booking, or they've looked for the booking on your website and they've clicked and made their booking, then you log in to have a look at their booking, it then says, do you want to download the app? Bang, on their website, on your desktop screen or on your phone screen. Brilliant. So about me, why is it taxi app and booking management services as I'm an accountant? Well, it just update my screen here to make sure that we get to where we are in this little presentation. Some 10 to 12 years ago, I moved to Colchester. In fact, it's 16 years now. Okay, moved to Colchester from Kent. I originally was an accountant and still an accountant, but was an accountant working for the government. And I wanted to go self-employed effectively and get my own practice and look after clients myself. To do that, it's a bit of a risk when you've got a mortgage and bills to pay. So I decided to go back to taxi driving, cab driving. And obviously, moving to Colchester is a very busy town. We call it Little London. It's one of the larger cities, larger towns. And so there were a lot more taxi firms. Best thing to do is go to the largest taxi firm in the town to get the most work. And of course, if you want to own a firm or run a firm, you start from the top, don't you? You start from the top business and learn the ropes. I was a bit familiar with taxi driving anyway, so that wasn't so difficult. Those days they all had radios. They were just starting to get into the apps on the phones, and very early days within that scope. Anyway, the important thing was, after discussing what I wanted to do to make up my money as an accountant in practice, is to find the right firm. After going around different firms, the advice was to get the right car, one with plenty of room to take luggage and to be flexible. Obviously, to go to the airport now and again, you need room for many people and many suitcases and luggage. So we decided on a Ford. At the time, I believe, going back into the time, it is that somebody was able to go to the markets where they buy cars slightly cheaper, and the fee was about £500, I think, to go and find me a decent car on the market, the auctions, I think, and that worked out really well. So I got myself a nice priced car, all ready for action, licensed it up, got myself a taxi license. In them days, also, you didn't have to take a taxi test to make sure that you was able to do the roads and things, so that was ideal. Now in Colchester and most towns, you have to take a test to make sure you can speak the language, English, and to be understood by customers, and make sure you can do the routes and find addresses and things. But then it was just good to make sure you got the police check done and you had no criminal records. Basically, you got your license. Okay, so onwards and upwards, I worked for a cab firm. I remember that I used to get bookings during the day, and I sat at my desk during the day doing accounts, bookkeeping, converting self-employed people to limited companies where the tax efficient way was much better for that position. And when the phone would ring, I would or a job would come up on the radio. I had a little radio attached to my desk. I took it out the car, some wing nuts onto the desk, and when the radio would send out a little job, I'd say yes, hello, 220, and then of course, got that 20 out, and unwing nutsed the radio and put it back into the car, put it back together again. What a palaver, but it's worth it because I can get back indoors and do some bookkeeping between the jobs. Done about 2 or 3 jobs during the day, 2 or 3 in the evening, went to bed about 10ish, always working, always doing driving, always doing this. And Friday and Saturday nights then was quite good times. They were the peak of the week, so all week you paid your rent money in for the you'd pay the firm for using them to get jobs, £120 a week I think it was, and then at Friday and Saturday you make your own money for yourself, which is good. And on Sunday I'd probably have a little bit of a lay-in and not bother to work all day Sunday. It depends how I felt, but it's a bit like karaoke, I'd always say. Then once you've done it once, you can't wait to do it again. Get really tired, but you get back out and you can't wait to get back in the car again. But I enjoy my accountancy work, so I was still doing the accounts and then converting people into limited companies, getting more limited companies on board, doing the accounts, the bookkeeping. My wife indoors, behind every good businessman there's a good wife, and she was always working hard on the accounts, doing the bookkeeping, and that was converting into electronic systems, which is downloading and to bank statements and so on, and all sorts of things were happening. I was busy on the accounts, busy on the taxi driving. It came to a stage in doing the taxi driving whereby I'd got far too much bookkeeping to go out doing the driving. Cut a long story short, I got a driver in one of the cars, and then I got another car, and I got another driver in another car, and in a year or so I realised that maybe we need to be less on the phone taking bookings, because that disturbs me doing the bookkeeping, and more on the accounts, and that would convert me into doing airports only. Airport driving didn't really interest me initially because it's too long, 4 hours on the road, come back, feel tired, don't like doing bookkeeping when tired. So I thought if I got drivers and took airports only, which you spend about 10 or 15 minutes on the phone taking the right details, which is landing times, flight numbers. It has to be right, doesn't it? Because people are coming off an aeroplane and they want to find their driver. So the driver has to be in the arrivals, the parking needs to be included, because people don't really want to say, oh, and plus parking. Although parking can take the profits out of it, let's give a one-off fee. And I basically underpriced lots of the jobs, but made sure the drivers would get plenty of work. So spending a time managing this was really quite easy, to be honest with you, because I consider myself as quite forward, okay, as well as presentable, and making sure we get the mechanics going of the bookings, provide all the drivers with the right details, tell them to go in and promise to go into the arrivals, making sure they're dressed smartly, and text messages were going to the customers and emails were being provided to check the bookings. We went to prepaid only, and basically we went fully airports only. That was a risk because other little companies I was talking to, they always said, oh, there's a risk in it, just airports, you're cutting your income down to one little area. I said, well, think about it, restaurants do 3 to 5 meals and then that's more profitable. So this company is doing 2 or 3 airports. It's like on the menu, you only have 2 or 3 jobs available and you're going to get better at those. So we didn't have to rush back to town to get back on the town to give me another job, just concentrate on what you're good at. So we specialised, airport transfers. That worked well. And we specialised in the way we did it, which was prepaid only. When people were to ring up, I would give them a quote, but I'd also send them out an email with a link on it for them to click and pay. I would tell them, we are not a cash airport transfer firm. We are a prepaid, pay in advance airport transfer firm. I told them right front, so oh, we like to pay cash, they used to say. I'm so sorry, we do not do cash. Our drivers are doing what they're good at. They're constant. They don't want to be bothered with counting money, discussing the price and working out this or car parking. They just need to get on with the job. That is what they're paid for. After all, if you work somewhere, you don't deal with the invoicing. You don't muck about with cash. That's different. So the best jobs are created, the best jobs are done if someone just specialises and done what they're asked to. And that's how I found it worked. We were getting easily 10, 11 airports a week, sometimes 20. And then it got even worse or better. In fact, 30 airports were easily being done in a week. Over 100 airports a month. And then, of course, lockdown came. Let me just wind it back a bit. Before lockdown come, March 19, last year, 2020, I had three websites built. I'd made sure that the bookings would become easy and not only economical to book, so I didn't want to be sitting on the phone for ages taking long-term bookings. It takes about 10 minutes to write all the booking details down. I made sure that all these bookings were automated from a website where you make a drop-down date, drop-down time, pick-up time, flight number. All that was put on the website. Now there's loads of them types of packages available on websites, but I wanted mine done by me and my software partners. As I said, I can code, so I understand how coding goes, but I can't do it as a professional long-standing coder can do. So therefore I had to manipulate it with what I wanted with the professional coders. I use guys in India. Price is a little bit easier to work with, but it still is expensive. We got these booking software onto the website, and then I wanted it to manage on a separate login all the bookings in one place. The next job to do is at the top, and as the job expires or the job's being done, it rolls out of the system and the next one comes up. So they would automatically go onto this booking panel. That's fantastic, because if you click a button that says A for allocate, that would go off, and it would onto another screen. You choose the driver, click the driver, and that would send off an email and a text message to the driver to say, do you want this job, basically. And they had to have a little link that come to them by text and email. They would log into the software and of course accept the job. That's it really. Because when the drivers accepted the job, an email would go straight off to the customer to say, the driver has now accepted the job, this is your driver. And it's the same information that has been booked on the website, gone to the display for organising all the jobs in order, and the same information has gone to the driver and the same information has gone to the customer. So it's not changed. There's none of this Chinese whispers changing as you go across to make sure the book is being transported and delivered correctly to the driver. Now, you've heard the days where you write the booking on your diary down there, and then you get on the phone to get a driver sorted. Yeah, have you got that number? You got that date? And then you go over the number 7 or 8 times, and you missed a digit, and it's in the wrong place. And because it all goes wrong, doesn't it? We need the information down straight away from the source, which is the customer, and it doesn't change, and it goes delivered through. If it's copied and pasted, that's fine, but it's even better if the information just comes from the software, automated into the hands of the driver, and shows the customer that's what we got. We turn up, after all, from the information that's been written or input into the website. And they get an email of it. And that same information is converted into a invoice. It's easy for software. It just moves the information around. Pop. And of course, if the customer wants an invoice, oh, Barry, by the way, I need an invoice for this because it's the job. We took a lot of business people to the airports. Perfect. I just clicked a button on the management software, when I'm back in the office, and it sent an email, invoice sent. Perfect. And it's all prepaid, so there's no have they paid, have they haven't. We wouldn't have done the job if it wasn't paid. It's all prepaid. Perfect. So there you are. That was built into the website at that point. And of course, I wanted it to be part of everybody's business, but that was built onto the website. So if I had to sell that, I'd have to charge some setup fees, because I'd have to get someone else to set it up on somebody else's website. That means making a website, making sure they've got a website, so it just becomes very onerous. We had lockdown. I wanted this to resell. I like selling because we're all going to make a few quid, but I also want people to have an easier time at making these airports easier to take and the process to be a lot more efficient. what I had to do is to make sure I could sell this software easy. Software as a service, SaaS. It means, just like Facebook, you sign up, log in and sign up, register an account with Facebook. You've got instantly available all the processes, all the account facilities. You can do everything on Facebook once you've logged in because you've got a registration account for yourself. Well, it's the same for this taxi booking service software that I've built. I've managed to get together. You register with the software on a website, or I give you a login, and once you've got an account, you instantly, with no setup, the only setup is you put your company name in, you correct the address if I've got it wrong, if I set it up for you, you put your email address in, and then you put your customers in. But I wouldn't put all your customers in straight away. I'd just take a booking and put the customer in on the fly, and then you click enter, and the booking's saved, and the customer goes to the database. So there's no real setup. You open an account and start loading your drivers on. If it's just you as an owner driver, I've heard it said, haven't I? Oh, there's only me, Barry, I don't need nothing like this. Well, believe me, going back and sorting out an invoice after 4 hours on the road is a nightmare. You don't want to be sorting out bookings that have left you voicemails after voicemail. If they've had a booking with you already and they're a little bit, oh, we don't know how to work software, we don't know any bookings, we just like talking to you, we like the real thing. What they're really saying is they're a little bit lazy. They want it easy. Well, that really is converted in if they were to click a button on the login they had before, and a D button means duplicate booking, it would come straight back to you with them to choose the date, time, and a flight number if it was changed. Just a few more seconds more of their life, which is a lot quicker than talking on the phone and getting back to you later on the voicemail. They've got a duplicate booking made instantly, and it's sitting on your panel when you get back home, or when you're in the lay-by or waiting for the next airport. You can log in on your mobile compliant app. This is what it is, and you can see the booking, and then you'll say, yes, I'll do it, except if you're the only driver on the firm, if it's a only driver firm, straight away, bang, the job goes straight back to the customer saying, this is what we booked, this is your driver, and they're happy because they got you as a driver, and that wasn't getting on the phone, and he's in the right time, wrong place, and you're ringing him a bit later because the traffic was, you can't pick the phone up while you're on the journey. It's automated. Now, okay, we don't earn a lot of money because we can't afford this software. That kind of excuse comes up. Well, I built this software. It did cost me between 12 and maybe £13,000 to get there since March, and it's an SaaS. Now, it may as well go to use. It's unlimited amount of people can log in and register for it. We need this software. I need this software. I need this software to be used. I can't, if you like, a few years down the line, say, hello, I've got this taxi management software. Can you buy this off me, please? And would you like to use it? It's all good. And oh, who's using it? Oh, you're the first one. I don't need that. It's obvious. People have got to be using this software for me to be able to say it's good, it works. So I can sell anything. Ice to Eskimos. However, I've got to realise that this software is good. And it's better. It's easier to sell something that you really know that works. I'm in the taxi business. I am an accountant. Those are the two businesses I know backwards. Okay, I can just say it without reading verse. I've got loads of writing on that screen just there, but I've thought, I know all this. Let's just talk it out. So I need people, taxi drivers, small firms, and wouldn't it be nice, bigger firms? But I don't mind accepting that small firms can use this now. They log in, they register, and they get to use it. I'm after, obviously, making some money eventually, but generally speaking, it could be forever for some small firms to use this software because it's just useful. I'm not going to make loads of money out of one or two customers, one or two clients, one or two cab firms, but I will make a few more pounds if hundreds of cab firms sign up, one-man drivers sign up, and I make £1 per sign up. Now, £1 is nothing really. It's just a bit of cost covering. It may be a little bit more, but to be honest with you, it does save you time. But for now, we just need to get lots and lots and lots and lots of sign-ups on this software to give it good trial. I'm going to improve this software all the time. At the moment, what happens is a booking is made, it goes onto the panel, the management panel. The booking next is at the top. As time passes, it rolls off and it's made a booking and it's gone. And of course, there's a calendar on the bottom. You can click on that calendar and you go to a past booking and find out what's on that date. You can search the bookings. You can allocate to a driver. The driver then gets a text message and an email, makes a noise on his mobile phone to say that I've got a booking come through. He logs in. The text message says you must log in to check your booking. You've got something to accept. If he accepts, it goes straight to the customer saying he's a driver. And the text message and email goes to the customer saying log in to check your booking, check the driver's details. If that's all good, nothing changes. On the panel, it updates and puts the driver's name next to the booking. If the customer wants to book again, as I said earlier, they press a D and there's a duplicate booking. They make some adjustments, click send, it goes straight to the panel. And the greatest thing about that, if it's set as this way around, the booking then goes straight to all the available drivers for allocation. Auto allocation, AA, is on the management panel. Any driver that's available that gets this text message, clicks accept, they get the job straight away allocated to them, and then the name appears on the management panel in the order of the bookings due. That way you don't have to wait till you get home and assign the booking to a driver. It's happened. It's not exactly AI, but it could be considered AI because it automatically is allocated to a driver when a customer's booked another job. That's saving you mucking about, sorting out when you get home from a long job. Perfect. Bookings are flying in and you can do nothing. Well, that surely is worth £1 a week, isn't it? Or a little bit more perhaps, but we'll work that out as we go by. Let's get using this software, okay? There's another thing. When it comes to, if you have drivers or a driver or someone that helps you out in your firm to do some jobs that's too much work for you, you will give them a job and obviously there'll be a commission involved whereby they'll pay you £10 per job they give you, you give them, or there's a 10% or 15%. Well, this is all administration at the end of the week. You've got to pay this driver. If it's prepaid, you've got to give him his amount, or if it's paid cash and he collects money off the customers, there's an amount you need at the end of the week. Otherwise, you're not going to give him work next week. Well, on the taxi management software, you click on reports and you put in the date from to and you choose the driver. It gives you a whole list of what jobs were done, and it splits between driver and company and the amount you owe or you're owed. That's easy. It literally is click, click, done. And then of course the driver can do that on his app. He can see the report. So he knows what he's owed. None of this, how much you owe me this. He knows, you know, and you tell him, look on your driver app to see how much I owe you. And then I'll look and then we'll make an agreement and I'll pay you. It's simple. Life is simple. This app is unbelievably simple. There's lots of things you can get, buttons and whistles and squeals and things that go on other apps, but this is just a simple back to basics app, and it's an SaaS, software as a service. If you log in and register, you can use it straight away, adding your drivers, your customers, and it's sending signals out to when the driver's allocated, and you can look at it to see when your next job's up, and it makes life efficient. The information doesn't change. So go to pod-.co.uk to see all the explanations and guides of how to use this software. You can see this screen again if you want to, and I hope I've not got on your nerves too much, but there you go, an explanation of how I got here and what the software does. Simple. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.